Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. This is a platform for our veterans, our sponsors, supporters, volunteers, and all those that are doing incredible things, nonprofit organizations. If you have a story and you want to tell it, this is a great platform to do that. It's benefiting our veterans in so many different ways, our combat veterans especially. I'm combat wounded, lucky to be alive after being hit with a mortar round April 2006. And this is what I do. I spend a lot of my time just kind of reaching out, finding these incredible stories, incredible people that are doing incredible things, and just getting their story out in some way, fashion, or however they want to tell it. So, my guest this week is Kristen Maddox. She has been huge in the veteran community, doing some incredible things. She's got a lot of awards from different organizations, just incredible stuff. Kristen, thanks a lot for being on my podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's so cool to finally meet you. I know I got linked up with you because Warrior Bill got a message that says, "Hey, there's a veteran that really needs some help," and we're going to get into that a lot. But you're kind of flagging that, making that the thing that you really want to pursue is helping this veteran that basically is going to be displaced out of his housing. He's been in there for 46 years. He's 88 years old. He mows lawns for making money so he can eat, but he's like maybe 50% disabled. They're working on his percentage levels, but he had a great rent and he had this for a long time, but he's going to be displaced. And that's really where we're going to talk about that. But that got me to know you through your dad, Pete Maddox, Vietnam veteran. And it's great. He's like, "Hey, you got to talk to my daughter. She's really she's done some amazing things." And you stepped away from it in 2010. You've been helping your mom and dad. You have a son that you're raising, all these good things. But before that, let's go to your story. Let's talk about all these incredible things. What was it that inspired you, for one? Because you were still in high school when 9/11 kicked off, right?
Yes, I was a senior in high school during 9/11. And I remember that day extremely well. I was getting ready for school. I turned on the TV and I saw breaking news that we were being attacked, and I was absolutely horrified. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know if I should go to school that day, but I ended up going to school. And I remember the entire day we were watching it live on TV, watching what was happening in the classrooms. The teachers were just shocked. And I remember my friends, we were all talking, and a lot of them were saying, I'm going to join the military. As soon as I graduate, I'm joining the military. And, one of the guys that I was dating at the time, he ended up joining the military. He became an Army sniper, and he was deployed. And I remember, when he was over there, I was sending him things and trying to support him. And, one day I got a call from him and he said, I really can't be with you anymore, because if I die over here, you're going to be devastated. And I was completely blindsided, and I didn't really understand what he meant and what he was going through. So I did what a lot of people did when they were in college, and I started partying, to forget, like just partying. And that really changed my life, because one day I was at a party and I saw someone else that I had gone to high school with. And it was someone who had kind of made my life a little bit miserable in high school. And I was like, oh, great, here he is. And he came up to me and he said, I really need to apologize to you for what happened in high school. And he said, I joined the Marines and I'm getting deployed for the third time. And I'm leaving behind a 6-month-old son. I went over there and a lot of my friends didn't come back. And it really put things in perspective for me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened. And we were talking, and he told me, I'm getting deployed on January 9th. And I said, January 9th? And he said, yes. And I said, that's my 21st birthday. And in that moment, something clicked in me. Like, here I am, almost 21, going to parties, having fun, living my life, and people are being deployed to a war zone and they don't know if they're coming home. And it hit me in that moment. Outside of having an ex-boyfriend that was still over there, it just really impacted me. So I told him, I said, here's my contact info. When you get over there, you send me a letter, and anything that you guys need while you're there, I will find people to help get it for you. Because he was telling me a lot of his friends didn't have family. Nobody was getting stuff over there besides what their family was sending. So I didn't know if he was going to contact me or not, but I figured I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something to have an impact on this world more than just enjoying my life and having fun. So when he got over there, he ended up sending me a list of things that he needed and his guys what they needed. So what I ended up doing was I sent them what they wanted. And in each package, I sent a request form. And I said, the only thing I ask from you in return is you give this to someone you know who needs something, and make sure they're specific. I don't want to guess what you want. I'm going to send you what it is you want. So they did that. And while that was happening, I started speaking to different Rotary clubs. I started going to recruiting offices. This was, before social media. So I had to actually physically go places. I mean, we had MySpace, but we didn't have like the power of social media. So I started small, and I started going to different places and saying, like, I have access to people that are deployed. Do you want to help send them things that they need? And everybody said yes, because I found that there's a lot of people who want to help. They just didn't know how. So giving them that opportunity to actually help and send things that people wanted and needed was, they jumped at it. So then someone suggested, you should really become a nonprofit. So I looked into that. I got a nonprofit attorney, and Helping Our Troops was born. And from there, we went on to expanding. We sent all over the world. Didn't matter where you were deployed, Navy ships, Kuwait, everywhere, Afghanistan, Iraq, whatever someone needed, we would send. And, a lot of people at first, they thought it was a joke. Like, this can't be real. Like, I can write a letter of what I want and I'm going to get what I want. So we'd get random requests. We'd get, someone wanted guitar picks or bicycle brake pads. They wanted a book on calligraphy or certain DVDs. I even had one unit that wanted an Xbox. And I said, I can find someone to get you guys an Xbox and all the video games. Not a problem. And I did. So it really became a source of happiness for a lot of people. And I would give my phone number out to people. They would call me sometimes, just to talk, because they didn't have family to talk to. They didn't want to talk to their family about certain things. And I became a safe person for them. So that was what I did over there. Then I expanded to the VA hospital. I started working with the Long Beach VA a lot, helping wounded veterans. We paid car payments for people who were losing their cars. One Marine was paralyzed by a sniper, and his wife was pregnant. So we bought her an entire nursery full of everything they wanted. We did a lot of good. So that was the goal, was actually being able to help people. And I think we did a lot of good, and I've wanted to continue with that. I took some time off to raise my son. And now that he's graduating high school next year, I want to get back into it. So that's how HOT was born. And
yeah, that's an incredible thing. I mean, what do you think was the inspiration between, the fact that you went and wanted to do something for the military? Obviously, at the high school, all the guys join in, but your father served, you had some idea as to what the military might entail some things, right?
Well, my dad, he went to Vietnam, and when he came back, he was not treated well. And other veterans that came back were not treated well. And I did not want that to happen to my generation. I didn't want my generation to feel abandoned, and I didn't want them to ever go through what he went through. And, over the years, I've talked to my dad. There's a lot of things he doesn't talk about, which I completely understand. I have a great respect for him and what he went through. He's opened up to me, about some things, and some things he'll never open up to anybody about. And he really inspired me too, because I wanted to show him that there are people who care. And it was healing for him as well, because I just didn't want him to feel alone. And I didn't want him to feel like, my generation was going to experience what he experienced. And so he was a big inspiration for that too. And, we had a lot of talks about it, and a lot of talks about what it means to actually have people care. And, he joined at 17. He volunteered to go to Vietnam. He signed up and he asked to go. So I have a lot of respect for what he did. And a lot of respect for what he went through. He's, 100% disabled and through the military, and he went through a lot. So that's
right. So you never got to experience where he was gone while you were growing up, because it was well after his return back from Vietnam that you came into his life.
yes.
And so you only got to hear hearsay from your father. So you didn't really get to
Right.
experience all the deployments and different things. And, now you're doing some other things, but I mean, you've kind of came to some conclusions that you want to be back involved in the veteran community. And obviously we got this guy, Dennis, that's going to be displaced from his home. If you want to talk about that and how you came into that piece and why that has now sparked your inspiration to again push for some really awesome support for a veteran that really needs a home. He's going to need a home.
Yes. So I was scrolling on Facebook, like all of us do, randomly scrolling, and I came across a story about Dennis, and it said that, Vietnam veteran facing homelessness after 46 years. And I thought, what is going on? So I read the story, and his landlord had been giving him a reduced price on rent for 46 years. He's lived in this house for 46 years. He's almost 80 years old. And when she passed away, unfortunately, she owes some money and taxes and things. And so they're taking the house. His neighbors were also displaced that were renting from her. And I was reading through his story, and they said, we're hoping someone steps up and offers him a miracle. And I thought, a lot of times people read these stories and they think, well, someone's going to step up. Someone's going to help him. But oftentimes people don't realize that, you're someone. And if you just ignore it, he might not get the help that he needs. So I reached out to the journalist that wrote the article, and I said, I know you don't know me. I used to run Helping Our Troops. This is, some background on me. I'm a legit person. I want to know what Dennis needs, if anybody is helping him, if he's getting resources. You don't have to give him my contact info. We can talk just through you, whatever he's comfortable with. And I said, I want to help and make sure that he does not end up homeless, because I thought, even if my own father, he's very close in age to Dennis. And I thought, what would he do if he didn't have family and he was going to be homeless? Everything that he's gone through, you don't think that a veteran who's been through unimaginable things would end up facing homelessness at almost 80 years old. So I was actually shocked that the journalist wrote me back, because I wasn't at first expecting it, because I'm sure they get like a lot of emails. And he said, I sat down with Dennis and I talked to him, and he would really like to talk to you. Here's his phone number. So I called him and I asked him what he needed. And he said, he needs resources. So I started researching that. Had my dad helping me. That's how he reached out to you, and we got connected. And he said, he might have to sell his possessions to raise money. And I'm thinking, this is a man who went to war, and he's going to have to sell his possessions to cover rent. Like that should not be happening. He should not have to do that. So I started reaching out to friends. I have a friend who's a veteran service officer. She reached out to him. She's helping him with the VA process, getting more benefits. I'm looking into housing options. And I spoke with him yesterday. He said the update is he still doesn't have a place to live, but the eviction notice that he received is now dated August 10th. So he has until then to find a place. And so far, his GoFundMe has raised, I believe it's $4,600. So it's moving forward. I've been sharing that. But I truly believe that all it takes is just one person or a couple of people seeing his story and putting it out there and calling different people, that we can make this happen for him to where he doesn't have to worry about being homeless in the last, part of his life. He does have a very large dog and parrots, so he needs a place that'll take them too, because he will not abandon his pets. But that's how I got connected with Dennis, and that's why I'm trying to help him now.
Right. Hey, Brian, can you flash the GoFundMe link up there if you have that? While we're talking about this, and you know, this is becoming your project now, and you're obviously taking the time to make these phone calls, reach out to people, and and hopefully make a difference. But you've done that a lot, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, and and what is you've gotten all kinds of awards for some of these pursuits. I mean, obviously you're like a honorary recruiter for the Army.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, if you could talk about some of these incredible awards that you've gotten for this, and we'll come back to this as well too.
Yeah, I actually was invited to go on the educators tour at Fort Benning by recruiters, and I got to see start to finish the moment you get to basic training all the way to the end. That was an incredible experience. I had gone to the recruiter's office and told them whenever someone signs up, if they need anything, my organization will help them with anything that they need. When they get deployed, we'll help them with anything they need. So they did present me with an honorary recruiter award, which was very, very special to me. It means a lot. I also received the California Commendation Medal for building the first family center in Santa Ana. Back then, a lot of people didn't have access to the internet. So the idea was we were going to build a center in Santa Ana in the Armory that would allow people to go use the internet, be able to make phone calls, receive phone calls from their loved ones overseas. It had a childcare area. It had resources for jobs and how to do interviews and computers and printers so that they can print out whatever they needed. Because, back then, a lot of people didn't have printers. It's not like now where everybody has everything. So I funded that entire center through my organization at 22 years old, and they presented me with the California Commendation Medal, which was a huge honor.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's incredible to be, in a place where you can be thought of in such positive ways. And, at the time, I'm sure you didn't know where this was going to go, but to get those kudos is really important. And it really is cool. Obviously, things like you talked about, the reasons why you kind of step back, your son, having him,
Yeah.
and now he's going to graduate. You're kind of looking forward to getting back into the veteran community and doing some incredible things again.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about why you pulled away, because you pulled away because the news was dying down. It was getting harder to, it's harder to raise funds, and now you're going to have some opportunities, and you want to get back into them, and talk about what you want to do with that.
Yeah. So, at the time I had my son in 2009, I was still running Helping Our Troops. The media was not covering the war in Iraq and Afghanistan as much during that time. People started, it wasn't in their face all the time what was going on. And because I was a full-time mom and taking care of my son as a single mother at the time, I put all my focus on my son while still running Helping Our Troops for another year. But I decided it was time to step back, focus on my family. And, I still helped the community when I could, different things. If someone needed something, I would step up and help. But I wasn't actively, speaking to different groups. I mean, gosh, back then I was doing several Rotary Club meetings a month. I was driving all over the place. Fundraising was a full-time job. I sold I'm Hot shirts because at the time Paris Hilton was very popular, and, that's hot. So I sold shirts. I'm hot, meaning I'm helping our troops. And that was a great way of fundraising. Everybody wanted a hot shirt, so when I started winding things down and focusing on my son, I went back to my second passion, which is helping animals. I rescue animals all the time. And what really inspired me to get back into this was just even my own experience with my mother. She's was hospitalized for over a month. She's had 2 back surgeries and a cancer diagnosis. And being in the hospital and seeing what people go through, how lonely it is, how hard it is on families, I was thinking back to our veterans again and wanting to get back involved with hospitalized veterans. Back when I was running Helping Our Troops, we did do a video library for the Long Beach VA, and we did different services. We contracted with the Girl Scouts of Orange County, and we're able to get all the leftover cookies donated to the VA every year. That program's still going on today, but it really got me thinking about what I want to do with my life. I'm still taking care of my mom full time, and it's hard. It's really hard. I've never been a caregiver before, but it put a lot of things in perspective for me, and I have a lot of respect for caregivers, more respect now than I've ever had. And just seeing what she went through in the hospital, and my dad being there with her. My dad was also hospitalized the same week she was. So 2026 has been a wonderful year, but I truly believe that something good can come out of something bad every single time. No matter what you're going through, something good can always come out of it. And I want to get back to helping veterans. It's my passion. It's something I've always wanted to do. And now I'm seeing different directions that I can go, especially with Vietnam veterans. I have a huge respect for everything they went through and how they were treated. I want them to not feel forgotten now. And I can't make up for how they were treated when they got back home. But now I don't want them to feel forgotten. And I think a lot of them do, but there's a lot of people who care. So I would really like to start helping hospitalized veterans, veterans in long-term care facilities, veterans that are facing homelessness. I don't think any veteran in our country should ever have the fear of being homeless or be homeless. So those are things that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm passionate about helping my own generation, still helping them as well, because they're still dealing with, as you know, a lot of issues and a lot of things going on. And I don't want any of them to be homeless either. So it's been a year of reflection. And now that my son's graduating high school and he's going to go off and go into the world and do his own thing, I really want to get back to doing what I'm passionate about, and that's helping people. So it's inspired me to get back into it.
It's an incredible story. I know, it's you're taking it on as a civilian looking into our country and the freedoms that we have all the time and going with that. And you rescue animals. Let's talk about your animals, because right now, she's pulled away from everything so much that, the only way you can get a hold of her is through her animal. You can get a hold of her through me, obviously through my podcast, but for her to have the animal rescues things, she actually started this whole Facebook page for her tortoise.
So I have several tortoises. I won't say how many. I have a few, but I have 200-pound Tortzilla. I used to work at the animal shelter, and they called me and they said, we have this massive tortoise and he's very sick. We're going to have to put him down. And I said, I'll come look at him. So I thought, how big can he be? Because I have other large tortoises that are like 100 pounds. Well, I get to the shelter and he is 210 pounds. He's 3 feet long, 2 feet wide. He's massive. He's 75 years old, approximately. And I was like, I don't need another tortoise, but he's going to be put to sleep. I can't let that happen. Like, he's been around a long time. He has seen some things. So I was like, okay, I'll take him. So it took 5 people to lift him. We used a patient lifting blanket from the fire department. We loaded him in my car. And I know some amazing veterinarians. I had a great team. They saved his life. He had 3 surgeries. I had great community support. I had friends donating to help save his life. And he's a very special, gentle giant. He's truly a giant. And I have other tortoises that have medical problems that I've done surgeries on and helped them. So that's how the page Tortzilla and Waffles came to be. And I also do wild snake relocations. I'm very passionate about helping snakes. I love snakes. I have lots of reptiles, lots of animals. So that's kind of my side project that I do. And that's what I've been doing.
It's just another passion of yours, which is it's so important to have, a couple passions. And I talk to the veterans all the time. They get so caught up in having only either they don't want to do anything and they isolate, or they have one thing that they totally love to do. But if they burn out on that, it becomes really difficult. So for you, and animals are really good because you're obviously taking on different animals at different times. And sometimes it just becomes a wonderful experience, because obviously relocating snakes, it's because people, get tired of their snakes, or the tortoise becomes too big and where are you going to put it? And, these things become problems. So it's cool that you're taking on these, this is a passion of yours as well.
Yeah. And I'd like to connect the two as well, veterans and animals, because I do think rehabilitating animals helps a lot too. Like, even when you see, like, I have one tortoise named Waffles, and he's severely disabled. He has a bent and twisted spine. We had a CT scan of him done, and medically, we don't know how he can walk, but he can. And it's really inspiring, because you see this little guy who's been through horrible abuse and just unimaginable things. And you can see his body is twisted and bent, and he's still walking around happy. You can feed him and he'll come right up to you. He wants little shell rubs. And it shows how resilient animals and people can be. And sometimes that's inspiring. You see this animal that has been treated horribly, but they've made a comeback, and I used to ride horses a lot. Actually, that was one of the things that I was starting back then, was a therapeutic riding program. I worked with the VA on a very small scale. Like, I had one Marine veteran who had been blinded, and his dream was to ride a horse. He'd always wanted to ride a horse. And I said, he can come out. I have a great horse he can ride. And I was talking to him, and, he's like, I want to do this. And I said, well, I'm going to teach you how to do this yourself. Like, I'm not going to saddle this horse for you. You can do this. I'm going to teach you how to do everything from the ground up. I taught him how to clean that horse's feet, how to brush him, where the saddle was, how to put it on, how to adjust everything, and how to get up on there and ride. And we'd go for trail rides. And it was really one of the most incredible experiences of my life, because he had been self-isolating. And I completely understand. You go through something horrible, and I've been through horrible things, not as horrible as it's no comparison to what, combat veterans have ever gone through. I'm not trying to compare it, but I have been through some horrible things in my life as well. And I have a tendency to self-isolate, and I know what that feels like. And when you get back out there and you accomplish something that you want to accomplish, especially when people tell you you can't do it, it can save your life. It can really, really save your life. And so we rode for a very long time. He'd come out. I lost contact with him. I hope I can make contact with him again one day. That'd be great. I'd love to know how he's doing. But just things like that, like combining of, helping animals, helping people. I think we can all, make a difference in this world. And all it takes is just stepping up and doing something. A lot of times we think, well, I'm just one person. I can't do it. But when you actually get out there and you start doing things, you make connections with other people, like connecting with you, and opportunities open up, and you have a tendency to meet the right people at the right time, is what I truly believe. And I believe we all come into each other's lives for a reason. I like to hope that everybody that comes in contact with me, their life is better. That's my goal in life. But just being passionate about life again, and doing things to help people. And like I said, my mom's really inspired me to do that, because with everything that she's gone through and is still going through, it's been really, really hard. And for a while, I started slipping back down into that dark place, but I realized that no matter what she's going through or what I'm going through, someone's going through something worse. So that's what has inspired me to start going back towards the not self-isolating and getting back out there and helping people and being in the community and being active again with everything.
No, it's so important. And I think, it's great how you've gone through some stuff in your life already. Right. And it's obvious it's sometimes referred to not as bad as combat, or not as bad as this. And I feel like it's still super important. I think our civilians go through so many things. And I think our in your life, whatever you're doing, you go through a lot of different things. And I think it's, even as a parent trying to be a parent, we realize that we screw up sometimes. And but I think it's important to talk about it and open up about
Oh,
it
for
and,
sure.
because there's so many different opportunities out there and a lot of them go unanswered. Like you found a Marine that needed a horse and a saddle and this whole process. Blind guy just wants to be involved and you made that happen. There's so many things out there that are available, but we don't always grab a hold of them. There's not very,
Right.
not all the time. He's one of very few that said, "Hey, I need some help. I'm going to reach out and ask for that." It's
Yeah.
hard to ask for help, no matter where you are in your life, no matter where it's
It
at.
is.
And there's so many there's so many things that are out there to help that I don't feel like we take advantage of them enough because we're too proud or we're too,
Yeah.
this or that. And I think we're all guilty of it. So there's a lot of seats that are on the train that are going by.
Yeah.
So I would suggest everybody just sits in them with the thought that you might give that seat up to somebody who needs it more than you.
Right.
But you don't
I love
know
that.
until you see all the seats go by and they're all empty and everyone's like, "Oh, well, I didn't have a broken leg and I didn't have a missing arm and I didn't have a missing this. So that seat
Yeah.
wasn't for me." No, you don't want to have that idea. You want to have the idea that you want to jump in it. And I'm glad that you're shedding some light on you're going to be out there making help happen again. And
Yes.
so somebody needs to be involved in that. Somebody needs to hit her up and say, "Hey, I need some help with this or that," and give that purpose to her as well as the purpose for you to get that help and support. I think these things are important. I think this is a network of help and support. If we're not helping and supporting each other in these lives, uh, it, it goes by so empty. And so the isolation, yeah, it's great to
Yeah.
isolate sometimes, break away and isolate for a while, but with understanding that you're coming back and you're going to be involved in things. And I think it's really going to be an important thing. It's so awesome to have you on and talking about all these things. Is there some other things that you want to talk about? Feel free. Reiterate with Dennis and his situation again. Let's talk about that again and just kind of throw it out there one more time.
Yeah. Speaking with Dennis, he's a really great guy. He's a hardworking man. He mows lawns and he's very passionate about that. He doesn't want to move outside of Long Beach unless he absolutely has to, because he doesn't want to stop his lawn mowing route. He doesn't want to abandon the people that he does that for. And I have so much respect for that. He has a commitment and he wants to honor that commitment. And he's going through unimaginable things. I mean, 46 years living in the same home. How do you even begin to pack up 46 years of your life and go somewhere else? Like, I don't know what I would do if I was losing my home. And I've only been here, 15 years. Like, it's a whole lifetime. And I really do think people will want to help him. There are so many people. That's the spirit of America is helping people, especially veterans. And I think just getting his story out there, you see it all the time. When one person sees something and they share it and more people share it and they hear his story and they think, I'm not letting a almost 80-year-old Vietnam veteran become homeless. I think we can raise enough money for him to get a house. I think, and I know it sounds crazy, with the right people, we could buy that house that he's in and gift it to him. Crazier things have happened. I have a huge goal, and then if we make a smaller goal, great, but why not go for the whole goal? I think anything can happen. I really do. And he's a really great person. He's been through a lot, but he still has a positive attitude. He loves his animals. He loves his neighbors. And like his neighbors said, I hope someone steps up and helps him with the miracle. And I think we can all help him with that miracle. Every single one of us can help, even if it's, donating the cost of a coffee to him. It all adds up. All it takes is just a few people coming together and deciding they want to help. And I think we can do it. I think he can get that help and he can get a home and not have to worry about the future. He shouldn't have to worry about the future. He's already been through too much. He doesn't.
Right. And I want to say in the show notes is the link to his GoFundMe. And you'll also hear about his story. Just an incredible thing. And thanks for taking that on. And, I mean, obviously I have the word out to a lot of different coordinated efforts, and I don't know if that's going to pan out, but, somebody, that wants to do something will. and we'll keep trying to make it happen.
Yeah, so, I think we can all make it happen.
Yeah. And Kristen, I look forward to seeing where you're going to go, and you're always welcome to come back on the show for any.
Thank you.
I got these 10-minute segments that are coming up right after this. It really gives a chance to kind of highlight some things that are going on, or any organization that you become part of, and you want to share what's going on with all that. I want you to have that ability to do it, and reiterate how important it is for whatever you're doing down the road. That's going to be important for our veterans, our community. It's going to be great to hear from you.
Thank you. Yeah. And if anybody watching, thinks I'd be a good fit to help them with projects they're working on, I would love to get involved in that as well. I would love to meet as many people as possible with the same passions and branch off from there, because I think we can all accomplish a lot working together. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Kristen. You're welcome. And thanks for being on the show. And if anybody needs to get a hold of her, you could definitely do it through me. And again, through her Facebook, through the Tordzilla one that was flashed up there. So feel free to check that out. Hey, right now I'm going to bring over, this is a segment for William Estrella is going to be back on. He was on a couple weeks ago, and he is an advocate for our combat vets, our veteran community in the Gray Star community. Upland Group is his company, security. William, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, sir. How you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah, long time. I was just down in California a couple weeks ago, and William was doing this the T-shirt promotion where the T-shirt is all about the mental health. You can talk about that real quick. And we got a golf tournament tomorrow that's raising money for the PTSD Foundation of America and so many other really cool things. Go ahead, William.
Yeah, a few weeks ago we finished kind of the tail end of our shirt program. Nice message on the back, QR code that I shared last time, go straight to the PTSD Foundation. So all the people out there wearing them with our help from our friends at Built Basics Clothing can see a message on the back, see what it's about, scan it. Money goes directly to PTSD. Camp Hope to help you guys out. I actually had someone just call me the other day. They saw someone at Disneyland with the shirt, ended up being someone that was at our event, so a whole 3 counties over. So just that experience alone, and then those conversations starting to like, how'd you get that shirt? How do you know about that? How do you know my friend Will? Those are the things I love to hear about. So I got 2 calls, one from the person that saw the shirt, the other person who was wearing it. It's like, hey, so the whole reason for that message, right? Getting out, getting people talking about mental health. So that's why I'm excited. Like I said, I know we were talking about golf. I don't golf, but I pretend to. We have our PTSD Foundation hopefully getting some good money at Eagle Glen Golf Course tomorrow in Corona. I think it's only going to be like 92 degrees to raise some money on the green. So that I'm excited for a second year doing that with you. So excited to see you in person again tomorrow. And that's, like I said, always a good time, good raffles, good prizes, and a nice course with some good people. And then our next event after that, which is how we started our friendship, is July 30th, Pelican Hill Golf Course. And that's the big giant Gray Star charity golf event that, of course, honors the PTSD Foundation, Camp Hope, as well. So excited for golf season per se this summer with you by my side. So cool.
Yeah, and this golf tournament tomorrow is put on by IREM, IREM. And what does that represent?
I always forget. I always forget what IREM stands for. Sorry, I apologize.
Hey, that's all right.
Way too many associations.
Yeah, there's all kinds of acronyms. But thanks for IREM. They do so many things. They do golf tournaments, not just and it's a 2-year scholarship tournament kind of thing. They granted the PTSD Foundation of America as the 2 years. This is the second year that they've supplied some revenue and support for our golf tournament. So I'll be able to give a speech and talk about some things and talk about the PTSD Foundation a little bit tomorrow as well. And then they're going to have a gala at some point where I'll come back to and talk about that as well. And they'll raise a little bit more funds, and then they're going to choose another charity next year. And
but yeah, we'll help with that as well. Yeah, and just so IREM doesn't yell at me because I'm looking at their sheet, it's Institute of Real Estate Management. We're a part of way too many associations, so all the fun acronyms. But yeah, Institute for Real Estate Management. So they deal with multifamily and commercial, industrial, everything. So a lot of really good people.
Yeah, and they associate with the with Gray Star in some aspects as well. So it's really cool. And Gray Star, you know, I got to give a shout out to them. They have some amazing properties, and your Upland group, your business, and it's all about getting security guards and putting them in place where they need to be, and to include our veterans. I have some veterans in the tube right now to get some job opportunities through you. And thanks for making that happen. And I think that's going to be an important aspect too. You know, what is veterans' passions? Where can they go, and what can they do about it? And talk about what that means to you, Will.
Just talking about. Sorry, I have my guard dogs attacking.
That's all right.
Sorry. Yeah, the passion. I actually just left a message for one of the veterans. Just possible job opportunity. Trying to see if I get him an online interview this week. Help him out in his current position that he's at, as well as when he moves. Just like I said, for me, the passion is just the connections. You and I maybe didn't think we'd have anything in common. I'm not ex-military, but I have a lot of family in it. It's just the connections that we create. You know, your last caller, love to maybe link up with her on some of the things that we do. You know, just introducing people that might not have worked with other people that, you know, we introduced, someone that might have opportunities for housing down the road, or a program. You could probably look in your inbox. So just all those just connections and feelers. I was told I'm the super glue of the industry, and I take that with pride. But it's just I love meeting new people. I love connecting them. I love helping out where we can, and then, you know, including my family whenever I can to join in. So,
well, thanks, Will, and thanks for coming on. You know, at a moment's notice, just to kind of brief situations that are occurring, and obviously the golf tournament tomorrow, and you know, not everybody can always pop on, but because William's part of so many things, he represents these organizations in different ways and shapes and sizes. So, and the job opportunities. I mean, I don't ask for a lot, but when I need something,
you do
I go to
not.
Will.
You do not ask for a lot. I promise you.
But when I do, you know, it's great to collaborate with you, Will, on so many different options and so many different things. And keep up the good work. And thanks for the friendship and the support.
No, I appreciate it, sir. Excited to see you tomorrow. Remember sunscreen, please.
Oh, yeah. I better put that too. So.
Cool.
It's going to be a hot one. All right. Thanks, Will. We'll talk to you soon. Hey, I just, you know, it's amazing. These different directions. I can't say it enough. You know, we got to have our own battle buddies. And then on top of that, we got to have our support networks, our passions, and what that represents. And, you know, there's so many cool things that are going on, and it's hard to keep up with them all. You know, I just want to put a quick little shout out to the Warrior Built Foundation, because right now they're actually a portion of them in Colorado. Matter of fact, one of the guys that wants to possibly get a job with Will's company, he's out there too. And right now they're actually going to check on a rock crawler project that we're doing. We're working on, and then they're also supporting JT Taylor in his 1967 Dodge Cornet. It's going to do the Pikes Peak Hill climb. So they're just out there doing some stuff, and it's great to be supporting veterans and different things. And Warrior Built's vocational recreational support for our combat vets. You know, PTSD Foundation of America is the mental health piece for the PTSD side of things for the vets. And we have the ability to send these guys to get the help that they need at different directions and things. And I'm grateful to be allowed to work within the projects that I do. And it's important for us to pace ourselves as much as we want to be involved. Please pace yourself and make it also so it doesn't overwhelm you, burn you out, and all those different things. And that's really easy to happen. I don't have JB with me. He's usually my co-host. Just to let you know, he is catering right now for United Way. I think he's going to be catering again. He may not be with me next week because he's going to be so busy. But when he's here, you know, he's got a lot of things to say, and he's you know, world-renowned chef and doing this catering thing. So I'm always thankful for JB Brown and his association to everything that I've got going on. The Veterans Transition Resource Center is right here in Las Vegas. I'm doing a lot of things with them, just trying to at their studios doing the show. It's great. And it's great to see them always trying to coordinate stuff. And they also need volunteers as well. You know, although this podcast goes all over the place, it doesn't have the necessary, you know, to dial in somebody at a certain location. You might think I'm right around the corner from you, but I could be, you know, very far from you, obviously being in Las Vegas, but you can be anywhere in the United States, the world. This podcast is seen all over the world. And I looked at the stats, and it's crazy to see how many countries are watching this thing a little bit. You know, but thanks for being a listener. Like and share if you want. It's not something I've ever asked for, but you know, hit the like button, become a subscriber, and just follow this, see where it goes. But right now, hey, I'm going to turn this over to Brian Colburn. Brian Colburn obviously is sitchradio.com, behind the scenes, pushing buttons, you know, making sure all the different things go out. And this is Feed Drops, and Feed Drops is his way of saying, hey, I'm going to be a critique right now. We're going to be critical. We're going to tell you about the podcast and what it needs to do to improve, and what things could do to, you know, make it just a better podcast. And you as podcasters might want to take some notes from Brian, because he's going to help you be a better podcaster. Well, Brian, you don't have the Superman thing on your chest today, but you know, you're a Superman to me. You're the reason why I'm here. You're the reason why I'm a podcaster. I'm not a podcaster, but I play one in real life most of the time.
I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk. And you know, what's interesting, we had a conversation, I'd say about a week ago over the phone, to where the YouTube URL wasn't dialed in. And I don't know if it's because of that or just the fact that you've been so consistent, but your downloads last 28 days, 85% increase, man. So
because and talk about that, because my handle was Aaron 437 blah blah blah, something really crazy.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize. I thought, well, it's the podcast is named Combat Vet Vision, but if you don't have your handle right, and the handle should be Combat Vet Vision, and that's what it is now.
When you create a brand new page, they don't allow you to modify the handle. They used to not. I'm not sure if they do now. You had to have so many followers or downloads or whatever their metric was to where you could go in and modify. So it was youtube.com/@combatvetvision. Now that that's happened, I'm sure your YouTube numbers have spiked. I would almost bet, but your podcast, your audio only podcast numbers, 85% increase over the last 28 days, man. That's huge. And I want to take this opportunity to share with people that podcasting is more about a camera and a mic and a guest and Apple and Spotify and all of that. A lot of people get burnt out podcasting because of all the back end stuff, writing good show notes, writing good titles, managing whatever platform you're going to be on, descriptions. And, you know, a lot of these platforms have different description lengths. So you write the perfect description and then, oh, now I've got to cut it in half for this platform. And there's all kinds of little things that go on in the background that can help your podcast succeed. And for example, with that one YouTube handle, we're seeing a big increase in audio downloads. But a lot of people use YouTube as a discovery engine. They find something and then they go subscribe on their favorite podcast player so they can consume it while they're doing dishes, mowing the lawn, driving cross country. So it's more than just the camera, the mic, and what you're saying. But today's show, great guest, man. First off, awesome, another golf tournament already. You guys are doing great work and raising, you know, funds for great organizations. Keep that up. And if you're a golfer and you're watching this, get involved. Hit Chief up. His contact information's in the show notes. That's awesome. And this young lady who started at such a young age to have that pivotal moment in college before her 21st birthday, I mean, that's huge. That's a huge heart. And she's done a lot of good for a lot of different organizations, not just vets, but vets included, which is awesome. And the GoFundMe link that she was referring to help this Vietnam vet stay in his home is in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. So please, I invite you to go at least click it. And yes, times are tight, eggs are expensive, gas is ridiculous. But there's one thing that you can do to help that doesn't cost you a dime, and that's to click that link and then share it with your circle on your social media platforms. At the very least, you could do that to help this gentleman stay in a home and or find a new home to live out the rest of his years. That would be awesome. As far as critiquing you, Chief, your transitions are good. I love the dynamics of having segments now where we're bringing on a 10-minute. You're doing the interview. You're bringing me on to talk crap at the end of your show, which is awesome. I love the dynamic. It seems much more fast-paced. I'm sure it seems like it's a much faster show to you because you're constantly thinking about what's next. And back to my number one, ask questions. Don't turn it over and let them tell their story. Ask questions and pull the highlights of their story out of them. You know your audience better than they do. So have that call with them prior to doing the show and discover what you know your audience will resonate with and ask those questions to pull those pieces of the story out of your guest. That will greatly improve the engagement with your audience because you know your audience and you're going to pull the gold out of your guest to deliver to your audience. Other than that, man, you're crushing it. Keep it going. And we're going to be in Vegas either Monday or Tuesday. We're going to sit down and do some work on the back end.
Yeah, we are. And if you're here, you might as well be in the show with me next week. And you could be right here next to me. And mic number 2.
If JB's not there, maybe I will take you up on that, number 1. And number 2, prep me. Let me know who we're talking to and what we're talking about. And I'll prep some good questions for him.
Nice. Well, I'm going to have some good guests here. I always have incredible guests. It's really an honor to have any of them. I mean, it's cool that you want to come on and tell your story. But Brian, thanks a lot for just busting it out, man. And the feed drop piece is so cool. I'm glad I kind of came up with that idea to say, hey man, I want Brian to kind of critique because I get these critiques anyway. Why not critique me right here, right now? And JB and whatever, our podcasting, hosts are coming on. They're going to feel better about, knowing what they need to do to improve their stance on telling their story. And it's only made this podcast a little bit better. It's constantly pushed me into directions that I never thought I would be going, let alone hooking up all this equipment without you, Well, I wasn't without Brian, but Brian we were able to do it from the phone and the computer because when comm's not working, we go to the phone and he's like, hey man, let me see this. And we can show the technology has allowed us to really kind of operate almost autonomous no matter where we are in the galaxy.
Oh, and one other thing for the audience, everybody go visit Warrior Built and send a message, hit them up on social media and ask this one simple question. Nick Ham, when are you going to be a guest on Combat Vet Vision? And let's just flood his inbox because he needs to be sitting next to you one day.
Yeah, I keep talking to him and he comes up with weird excuses like once you have 2,000 guests, I'll be on. And it's pretty funny. So yeah, Nick Ham, president of Warrior Built Foundation, when will you be on the show? That's a good question. Because he started this and this podcast came out of Warrior Built. A lot of things have came out of Warrior Built, a lot of great veterans, inspiration to do a lot of really good things.
And he has a great motivational, inspirational story that will resonate with a lot of vets and possibly help them through their struggles in life right now. I mean, the man's story is incredible. Personal side, military side, running a nonprofit for vets. I mean, there's 3 facets there that we could pull some gold from to share with the world. So, but appreciate you, Chief. I'm gonna pop off and let you
finish it out. All right. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, there's so many things to thank and so many people, and Nick Siemens also at Warrior Built running the day-to-day show of just navigating a lot of things. And he's in Colorado right now with 2 vets, two Warrior Built guys. And they're just tearing it up. So doing some great things. And there's so many great organizations out there, and your stories need to be told. Don't be afraid to come on here and tell your story, because you're doing something, maybe you never thought that, hey, I need to do some sort of media kind of in this direction, but you know what, to tell your story and why you're helping veterans and what that means to you. And our sponsors, supporters, volunteers, and Kristen shared with me a letter, and she got lots of, I meant to ask her about all these letters that she got, but she shared one with me today that was actually another corpsman that was just so enthralled and just thankful and appreciative of getting something from her. I could have written that letter. I mean, it resonated with me so well, because I mean, here's this corpsman that just in this long letter of thank you, because your downtime, you don't know when your last day is or what it might entail. And it's just kind of an incredible thing to kind of embrace all these different organizations, all these different things. And Kristen's letter to share that with me was super important to me this morning. And you have things that you want to share. You have things you want to tell. The stories are incredible, and don't miss out. But I want to thank the Warrior Built Foundation, PTSD Foundation of America, Recon Chief Incorporated, SitchRadio.com, and all the other things, and the Veterans Transition Resource Center. Thanks for holding up the studio and putting this thing together. And Combat Vet Vision, thanks for making such a cool thing. And until next time, this is Aaron Seibert, retired Navy Chief, signing off. Strength and honor, out.
The only way, and we need nothing more. The only way, together forever.